this new project from the people that brought you DWA. We are Triple Threat Wrestling, or T Cubed. I'm Gary the Doctor.
I'm Postmaster Jones.
And you know me as Big B.
We are the people, of course, that brought you DWA minus Postmaster Jones over here. He's a new guy. We see him all the time at our monthly, what would you call them? Our monthly man outings.
Pay-per-view get-togethers.
There we go. There we go. I've known this guy for years. We're not going to get into the specifics because that's just flat boring. But what's not boring is wrestling.
That's right.
Wrestling.
That's right. We got a pay-per-view coming up next Sunday, don't we?
Yeah, we have Over the Limit.
Should be a good one, fellas.
Should be a good one.
We got an I Quit match featuring John Cena putting his WWE title on the line against The Miz.
And you know he's not going to say I quit. Why?
Well, I mean, The Miz just lost it, so.
Well, The Miz, I just don't understand why they're even going to act for a second like they're not going to have John Cena win that match.
We'll get to Over the Limit in a minute. Let's recap what happened this past week on Raw.
All right.
So starting on Raw, first match that was up was Kelly and Eve Torres versus the Bella Twins.
And the Bellas are just a delight.
And they're the and one of them's the Divas champion. I don't remember which one. Okay. I don't know. I don't think anything happened with the match. I don't think there's. It might have been a Kelly and Eve win, but then after that, Karma once again comes out and attacks Eve Torres, and Kelly gets away again, and the Bellas run because they're somehow smart. So.
Of course they're smart. They're the Bellas.
What do you think of Karma?
Well, you mean awesome Karma?
Yeah, awesome Karma.
Awesome Karma. I like it.
No, she's definitely gonna be a force to be reckoned with if they build her character right.
We'll talk about more on Karma on SmackDown. She had an appearance on SmackDown.
Yeah, so. I heard that. She got a hold of Layla.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
All right.
The only thing I don't get is WWE divas are supposed to be sexual, sensual, and smart. Smart, maybe.
That's what I wonder because they brand their divas as smart, sexy, and powerful. And how long can they build Awesome Kong if she's like not the
maybe smart
diva?
and powerful, but sexy? Well, no.
But see, every now and then there's an exception to that.
I guarantee you they're gonna get her to lose weight.
Yeah, well, they probably will, but you've also got to look at what happened with China. China was in there competing with most.
Yeah, but Beth Phoenix is like that. She's muscular.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The Glamazon, Beth Phoenix.
All right, so what's next on there? Kane fought Mason Ryan, and there's no contest. The Nexus attacked them, but the Big Show came out, and Kane and the Big Show got all the Nexus. What do you think of the new Nexus?
I like the old Nexus better. I think CM Punk is. I think that they showed the way they're developing CM Punk as a character with the Straight Edge Society. I think he proved that he's not a good leader figure. They want to make him like he's into like a Jesus-like character.
Yeah,
almost.
I mean that's
and that's okay. I'm not trying to get religious on anybody, but at the same time, CM Punk is not that kind of a character. I'm a huge CM Punk fan. Don't get me wrong.
Well, you think about the Nexus, who they are now. It's like you have CM Punk, who's obviously the leader, then you have Mason Ryan, who looks like he's the second in command. Then you never really see Otunga McGillicuddy in there. And
you
then
mean Batista's twin brother?
And Husky Harris is in FCW right now, and so is Skip Sheffield.
Right, and
Yep.
What it do? but I think the thing that you got to realize, they know. What shirt am I wearing? Nexus. I'm obviously a huge Nexus fan. I'm more of a Wade Barrett fan, but we'll talk more about Wade when we get to the SmackDown segment. That's why this one's for you, Wade. This one's for you. But I wish that they stick with something a little bit longer than what they did because they had a good thing going with the Nexus.
Yeah,
the original Nexus.
Because they were the original from the NXT and they were all branded together.
I don't know though. I think there for a while it was getting kind of played out. The Nexus was going after the same people.
Yeah,
John Cena, and they were always going after John Cena, and then they went after Randy Orton for a brief bit, and now. CM Punk with this Randall Keith Orton. Randall, and supposedly his wife gets involved.
Yeah.
And
which wife? The second one or the third one?
Yeah, exactly.
Which actress did they use this time?
But to me, I don't know. To me, the Nexus angle is completely played out. CM Punk is wanting to leave the company anyway.
Yeah, it seems like he needs a break.
He's not happy. And I think they need to just do something else other than this whole Nexus angle. Maybe go a different way. I can see Mason Ryan becoming a huge superstar down the road. Like I said earlier, he looks like Batista's twin brother.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was when he first came out.
It's crazy how so much he reminds you of Batista.
Yeah.
And then the other guys, they're kind of, they've seen their day. They're not really, they're okay.
I figure they do something with McGillicuddy because he's Mr. Perfect's kid, so I think they try to do something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But,
You know, I mean, right now it is a lot about family values in there. I think this is the family, the third generation of the
DiBiase, Rhodes, Orton. Yeah.
There's a lot of them in there.
Yeah. All right, so moving on. Next match was Dolph Ziggler, who's got a new look recently. He looks more like Randy Orton of old with the cut hair and the brown look there. Yeah. Fought Santino Marella, and he won, obviously, Dolph Ziggler on Raw. What do you think of Dolph Ziggler's new look?
He kind of looks like Nikki from the Spirit Squad.
Wait a minute, that is him.
Oh!
But now, like, Vicky Guerrero is calling not her boyfriend, but her business associate.
Yes.
Yeah, you tell me what lady from that used to walk the streets of ancient Cairo that really wasn't a personal assistant.
But I mean, obviously, I know probably WWE has image consultants, so they probably told Dolph Ziggler to cut his hair and dye it brown.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the idea by that is, because like his long hair was what he was identified by, I think, by some people, and now like he has a different look. So I don't know if they're just his look changes, that means he's gonna get a bigger push or.
Well, I mean, this happens every now and then. I mean, a few years ago, with the Undertaker, the American Badass.
Yeah, I think they did it because of what happened with 9/11.
Well, and they may have, and that's very possible. But at the same time, you have to reinvent yourself every now and then. You know, I mean, they constantly try. You're always trying to reinvent new things. That's where you get new business. But you know, there are some things you just can't do, and a couple of those is turning certain people heel.
Yeah.
You know, and. Or bringing them back.
I kind of like the new Dolph Ziggler look.
I do.
I mean, the before look, I mean, the scraggly blonde hair, it just didn't fit. And now that he's got the clean cut, I mean, he looks a little bit more like tougher. He looks a little bit more like meaner, like, you know. It makes more sense where before just the blonde hair and the scraggly look, it just wasn't working for me. He looked like a reject 80s porn star, but that's another...
We'll see what happens with him. I mean, we'll see if he gets a push, maybe a mid-card title or something. Okay, so then...
The next thing that happened was...
Alex Riley comes out, and first of all, he's on SmackDown for one thing, but he's still following The Miz around as his assistant.
Right.
So he comes out and challenges John Cena. John Cena beats him in 4 minutes.
Wait a minute. You know that's the plague, right? Not John Cena. It's the plague. Mm-hmm. I'm not afraid to say that on camera, by the way.
Cena comes out and beats Alex Riley in 4 minutes.
Right.
So, I mean...
And see, that brings up another thing. What is it with all the personal assistants? It seems like there's a few personal assistants in the WWE right now. Vicky Guerrero, A-Rai, you know, who else we got out there?
That's it.
The one guy from Superstars now that came out.
Oh, we'll talk about that when we get to Superstars.
Right. I mean, but I'm just saying, just to elaborate a point, there seems to be 3 or 4 of them out there.
Right. Well, we'll talk about Cena more later. Get to the next thing. They had a segment with Jerry the King Lawler and Michael Cole. Michael Cole was bragging about how he won the match at WrestleMania and Extreme Rules, and then he was saying, like, I'm done, I'm retiring from wrestling. And then Jerry Lawler gets in the ring and challenged him into the match at Extreme Rules, and Michael Cole said no. Then he said, if you beat me...
Over the limit.
I'll give you... What did I say?
Extreme Rules. That's okay. Rules. You said it twice, but that's okay.
Whatever.
That's all right.
And over the limit. If Michael Cole beats him over the limit, Jerry Lawler will give him his Hall of Fame ring and induct him to the Hall of Fame.
And see, you know that's not going to happen as we see a rabbit cross the window. But
keep focused.
That's not going to. I mean, that's not going to happen. I mean, seriously.
You never know.
True.
I know, but I would hope not.
I would hope not. After everything that Jerry's done for the company.
The thing with Michael Cole, they're obviously making him the big heel commentary, and like he's doing things like talking about Jerry Lawler's mother who passed away like February,
which is not cool.
Which is it's kind
ridiculous.
Of crossing the line. I mean, I know it's just it doesn't seem right to show that.
No, it doesn't. I mean, when he said, you know, your dead mother had the best seat in the house, that's just.
And then the thing he said on Raw, he said, I spent Mother's Day with my mother. Spending Mother's Day with my mother is the best thing in the world. What'd you do on Mother's Day? You know, it's kind of like, come on.
I mean, the wound is still fresh, you know, and you know Jerry the King Lawler's an amazing wrestler.
And they might be doing that just to like get the fans more behind Lawler.
Right. I mean, they're going to be behind Lawler for God's sake.
There's the coal miner. There's the coal miner. So.
Right, but I mean, you know, that's very small. I mean, we're in a society. I mean, look, like I said earlier, I'm wearing a Nexus shirt. Not everybody's going to be behind the faces anymore. You know. Like, there's quite a few heels out there that we like personally, you know? Yeah. Pretty much anybody that faces John Cena, we root for. Yeah. And, like, the Nexus, the Core, we're huge fans of those. We're not in a baby face society anymore. I mean, as far as the WWE goes.
Okay, so the next match was Kofi Kingston versus Jack Swagger. Kofi won because, you know, he's US. And Swagger loses, and Swagger gets frustrated that he lost. He accepted Michael Cole's match on his behalf, so Cole was kind of pissed about that, but it's going to happen now. Lawler versus Cole and over
right.
So
it is.
Well, you can tell the kind of path Swagger is taking at this time because he's losing to Chris Masters at house shows. So that tells you what WWE thinks of Jack Swagger at this moment. And then we had a main event match that was to decide the number 1 contender for the WWE title. Miz versus Del Rio versus Ray Ray. And, of course, everybody knows I hate Rey Mysterio. He's 4'11" nothing. He doesn't belong. He doesn't belong in the World Heavyweight title or WWE title picture. I mean, the whole idea of him facing the Big Show or Kane or Undertaker or anybody for that matter for a title, he belongs for the U.S. title or Intercontinental title at best. And of course, to no one's surprise, the Miz wins.
Miz wins. After that, actually, this is the Miz winning.
Alex Riley did help him.
Oh yeah.
He come down and assisted the Miz win. John Cena come out and told the Miz, well, you know, I get to make the match, and I've decided that over the limit it's going to be an I Quit match. Yeah. And it should be a good match, but like we said earlier, I don't see John Cena.
Yeah, one interesting thing I heard on Raw actually about I Quit match with John Cena, he's never lost an I Quit match.
Right, and you know, I think the whole thing is interesting because, well, I mean, 2 months ago I didn't like The Miz, you know, but here we are now. Everybody in this match I like, you know, I like Ray Ray, I like Ray Ray, I like Miz, and I have started to, you know, pretty much right from the start I liked Alberto Del Rio, and I think I know it's
destiny.
Like, I mean, you know, he speaks to me personally, you know. He's kind of cocky and all that stuff.
I didn't know you were Spanish, Gary.
Yeah,
that's
see, eh?
This is English.
But no, I mean, I think he's a very talented wrestler, and I think the WWE has done well with going into other fields and
Sin Cara
other.
also.
Yeah, Sin Cara. I was ready to say Sin Cara, Alberto Del Rio, and you know, some of these people are.
You mean
just,
the Botch Master?
You know, with your first week into a major company where you increased your viewership by 400,000.
But he's done it on several
He's just getting
occasions.
the butterflies out.
So after the match is over, we'll get to SmackDown. We'll move on to the other shows here in a second. But after the match, the new R-Truth came out and attacked Rey Mysterio.
And I love what they've done.
So the new
with
R-Truth is a heel, obviously, and I like it.
I like it.
And his eyes are just.
He's got great crazy eyes.
Oh my gosh!
The minute I was on R-Truth's bandwagon, he comes out and he's like, North Carolina, shut up, and I was just on board.
Yeah,
on board. It was awesome.
I mean, see, I think, like I said, going back into what I was talking about a little bit earlier, I think, you know, the heels now are more interesting than some of the faces. You know, because who hasn't seen what John Cena has to offer? You know, I mean, you're at a company where the audience tells you. The audience tells you that they don't like John Cena in the majority of the places they go, and I think that develops into more heels getting a lot more stories.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you have a guy that they're focusing on with John Cena, and everybody else kind of develops around that, and those stories become more interesting. And I mean, the evolution of Wade Barrett. The evolution now of R-Truth. The next thing, one of John Cena's best friends, and our great friend, John Morrison.
He's out for 6 weeks.
He's out for a few weeks, but I mean, he's finally getting what he is due. All the hard work that Morrison has put in is finally starting to pay off. I'm sad that he was injured, but I mean, it happens, and we do want to wish Morrison a speedy recovery for sure, because we know him. So I mean, we want to wish our buddy a speedy recovery.
Yeah, we'll move on to SmackDown in a second. Now we're gonna talk about Superstars. Now you're probably thinking, Superstars? That's not even on TV. It's on the internet. But I did check it out for the show this week, and it was actually really important to watch this week.
See, I didn't watch it, so we're gonna let you take it.
We're gonna let you kind of.
So you can fill in everything down in your opinion for that. But the first match was Trent Beretta came out first, and he's a Superstars regular. He comes out Superstars pretty much every week. And he fought Tyson Kidd, but Tyson Kidd was not alone in this match. He came out with Michael Hayes. Michael P.S. Hayes. Freebird Michael Hayes. What do you think about that?
I didn't know he was still alive, personally.
That's kind of interesting. I mean, from the standpoint of Michael Hayes' standing in the backstage area with WWE, we all know he's a prominent figure in behind the scenes with WWE. And to have him escort Tyson Kidd to the ring.
Does that mean a push for Tyson Kidd?
Maybe, but maybe not.
Since they put some Michael Hayes with Tyson Kidd, Michael Hayes was the manager of the Hardy Boys, and look how good they got.
You know,
look how good they got.
Well, why he managed them, and look how good they got up until that point.
People got on Rick Pitino for the whole 15 seconds thing. I mean, the next big chant in sports arenas are going to be 4 seconds for the freaking match with Sting.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, but you got to keep looking, I guess, at Tyson Kidd because he's got someone with him now that knows as a good manager and see what they do with that. They haven't really had a manager type of person in WWE in quite some time.
Well, I kind of don't like what they do with these tag teams lately. You know, they get a good tag team.
There is no tag team in WWE. Right. It's ridiculous. I mean, if you want to watch a tag team match and a good tag team match, as much as it kills me to say it, you got to go to TNA.
Yeah.
If you want to see a good tag team match, you got to go to TNA. There is no tag team.
I'm hoping that WWE brings a tag team because, we'll talk about that in a second when I get to that. But they broke up Crime Time. That was it. And Nexus isn't really tag anymore. And Big Show and Kane, they've tagged a million times. There's no really good tag team.
I mean, they need to for sure go back to the teams like the Road Warriors, like the Rockers.
Right.
I mean, I'm just giving an example.
Right.
The Midnight Express, the Rock and Roll Express,
Demolition,
the Heart Foundation.
The Heart Foundation. I mean, why break up
the natural disasters?
Yeah. I think there's some people that in WWE aren't doing anything right now, like maybe on Superstars or just on SmackDown frequently. They can put them there with somebody else and have a team and have a really good tag division because the only people that are tagging is Nexus.
Right, because
the core.
And I hadn't thought of your idea before, but I kind of like that because what happens? You put somebody, for example, you take somebody like R-Truth or whatever and put them in with maybe Zack Ryder or somebody that doesn't get enough airtime.
Right.
You give them maybe 5 or 6 minutes to develop talent in a Raw show or a Superstar show. Give them a little bit of time to develop their character a little bit more, maybe in line for a push because the same people are holding the title over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And it makes for compelling television to a point. But these times of people having the title 4 or 5 times, that's got to be because at one point you're devaluing what the WWE Championship stands for. Yeah. At one point.
And as you mentioned, Zack Ryder earlier, he was in a match against Vladimir Kozlov, and Kozlov not tagged with Santino anymore. I guess Santino's just going to be on his own for now. And Zack Ryder fought Kozlov, and Zack Ryder's always on Superstars just like Trent Barretta is, and he frequently loses. This week he had a little bit of help. He had help from Kurt Hawkins. So Kurt Hawkins came out and helped him win. And then as Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins were leaving, they were arm in arm, buddy buddy, and Zack Ryder said the Broskies are back. So it seems like Zack Ryder's going to be tagging again.
And see, that's good. I mean, like I said, because the WWE is lacking tag team division, as Jimmy said. I mean, there is just no tag team division, and whenever you get a good thing going, they start having problems.
Yeah.
Like with Crime Time or recently with the Heart Foundation. You don't have to break up every tag team, guys. You've been doing this since the 80s. You know it works. The 80s and the 90s were your bread and butter with DX. You never broke up. I mean, DX went away, but they were always there.
Came back, yeah.
And this is one of the greatest teams ever, right there, DX. And then this whole thing with Lay Cool, all of a sudden, that was good. I liked that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a Divas thing. It was a good Diva storyline. And all of a sudden, not so much anymore.
So then the main event for Superstars was Chris Masters versus Drew McIntyre. And, I mean, obviously, I'm sure you both remember, when Vince McMahon first brought in Drew McIntyre, he said he was the chosen one. McMahon personally hired him himself. McMahon's the top guy. He's the boss of the company. But Drew McIntyre hasn't really produced lately. He was Intercontinental Champion about 6 months into his career, and now he's really kind of fallen flat. He lost to Chris Masters on Superstars. So what's going on with Drew McIntyre?
I like Drew McIntyre.
I do too.
I'm not going to lie. I think my 3 favorites right now in the company are Orton, Barrett, and Drew McIntyre. And I think what happened was, and the same thing happened with Wade. They were both had trouble with their visas. I don't know if that had something to do with maybe how they're pushing it or maybe like that, but I don't know if that. Sometimes companies get kind of fickle about stuff like that. I don't know.
I don't know if they're like waiting for the time to push McIntyre, waiting for his time, or I don't know.
And that's what I'm kind of trying to say in a weird way, but I think that some of the things that are happening, that Drew McIntyre is going to be a great superstar.
Yeah, and the thing I was hoping for is during the draft, they drafted Drew McIntyre to Raw, and Sheamus was on Raw. And if those of you don't know, Sheamus and Drew McIntyre were in FCW, and they had great matches together. There's a bunch of matches on YouTube between the two of them. They work well in the ring together. That would have been awesome to have them wrestle, the two of them. And then Sheamus goes to SmackDown, so that can't happen right now.
Right.
So that's it for Superstars. So moving on to SmackDown.